Guys, welcome to another episode of Crypto Casual. Today's topic basically is the sound of BTC. We can associate that also with the sound of money or sound money. Right? For those who are joining for the first time, this is Crypto Casual. I'm your host Chuck, and basically our community that we're creating is the eco or the SO crypto community. If we can come up with a cool SO eco crypto, that'd be a mouthful. But for me, the SO goes with the esoteric. For me, I see everything through electricity. BTC for me is a binary Christ, and it's not a person; it's a consciousness, the second consciousness, which is just a second frequency. We're going from 110 human to 220 humans, if that's an analogy, meaning voltage. We're going from a 50-watt bulb to a 100-watt bulb, if that's a better way. But we are illuminating. We're becoming more illuminated. All of us have the capability of being more illuminating in our own lives and sharing that light with others. And in the times that we're always going through, and no matter what time in history, there's always dark times. I don't care how many millennia you go back. If you think you're going through something tough now, just go live back during the bubonic plagues, or go back in the Spanish flu, or go back into Prussian wars. You just go back in any time in history, and then trade places with what you have now and what they had back then. So maybe that puts it into perspective of focusing on the light within instead of the shadow. We want to recognize, honor the shadow, but let's balance those out, the yin and the yang, if you will. All right, the purpose of my channel, for those who are joining new or for those who are continuing to join, I appreciate you showing up. But it's basically just, for me, life is about simplicity. And that doesn't mean I don't take on challenges. I love challenges, but they're simple. They're not complicated. When you're trying to achieve something that's so complicated, it means the approach or your path may be one to be reevaluated and look and see if there's a better path. A better path is one that serves you. And so that ends up making it simple. For me, simplicity is love and complication is ego. All right, but we're here to help you feel better within to become successfully better. And we're going to do this through fundamental financial strategies and personal growth frameworks. We want to sort of tie these together. So we got the health, the wealth, and the love all tied into one program here, to one channel. So by understanding the esoteric trinity of consciousness, we have the crone, the mother, and the daughter, the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. We have all these trinities, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, whoever. They're all trinities. And the trinity is just the triangle. It's the transmitter, the receiver, and you. And when those three come together, it creates a holistic you. And through the holism of yourself, you can see the whole picture, the panoptic picture. Doesn't mean we know everything when we see that picture, and most of the time it's hard to describe or even put in, or it takes a lifetime to even write it down. But for some of us, we constantly improve ourselves and better ourselves, whatever that is for us. I don't improve myself for anyone else but myself. You can bring other people in, great, but first and foremost, you got to take care of you. It's like being on an airplane. When that oxygen tank, the oxygen comes down, you put it on yourself first, then your kids. Because if you try to, through fear and stress, try to put that oxygen into that person, you can pass out yourself. So get it on yourself and then deal with those around you. Because basically you can't serve anyone with a pure heart if your own heart is not pure. Cool? And our layout of the day is the esoteric thought of the day, behavioral framework, news, definition, charts, patterns, and crypto picks that I like, and influencer, book, or movie of the day. Do me a favor before we get started on our esoteric stuff, guys, is just like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, help get this channel spread, tell 5 people, right? Like. I can use some neuro-linguistic programming and say, I want you to like yourselves, guys. I want you to subscribe to that you are the best person in this world. And anytime that you need to notify yourself about when you are going down a path that doesn't work for you, right? Remember to like yourself, to love yourself, right? And subscribe to that notion. So that would be NLP, right? I'm throwing the like, subscribe, whatever. But I don't do that. I teach that, but I don't do it on other people. And we can do it for many, many other purposes, but I just gave you a little thing into neuro-linguistic programming, how to what the powers to be will do through the TVs, the radios, the subtones, is that they are constantly trying to program you. And if you do not have belief in yourself, then it's easier and you're more susceptible to their transmissions. Cool? I'm not your guru. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a crypto coach, an esoteric crypto coach. And my framework is to help you better yourself, and then through bettering yourself, you have more knowledge, and through knowledge in your own study, you can make more wise decisions. Right, so the ultimate responsibility for you are you, your words, your thoughts, your emotions. It's all on you. Right, don't go outside yourself, go within. If you need to take time, this is the perfect time to go within. We call it the Hermit card in the tarot or the Torah. We go inward, right? And that's what the hermit does. It's got to go away for a while, take a vacation, just be by yourself and work on yourself. And then when you're ready, you come out again and we get the Wheel of Fortune, guys. So do your own research. And for me, I don't invest more than I'm willing to lose. Let's get into the thought of the day, the esoteric thought of the day, the sound of BTC. What do I mean by that? Sound money. What is sound money? Right? We're going to use this word sound a few different ways. Sound is I can hear you, or you can hear me. Hopefully I got a little mic set up so you don't hear my computer the fan going on and off. But sound money is solid, right? It means it's solid. Paper is not really solid. You can poke a hole. Gold, to a better extent, is more solid. But I want to get more on the esoteric perspective of it, that it's sound, it's wavelengths, it's frequency, right? It's tones, tonal. And what comes out of you as a tone is a sound. And does that sound confident or does that sound weak? Right? And whatever your transmission is what you're going to receive. Right? So whatever your thoughts are, make sure they are sound. The more sound your thoughts are, the more sound your money will be. You send out a reverberation throughout the universe. Right? In this echolocation, when you send out, it comes back to you. Right? When you say, I'm not good enough, it only comes back to you as the situations and things that will manifest will just prove to yourself that you aren't good enough, because that's the thoughts you're putting out, so it just comes right back. So where you find yourself, like a bat finds food, it does echolocation. Right? Blind people use echolocation through clicking their tongue. So what we're going to do is click our thoughts, right, into the supernatural world of sound and sound money, which is BTC. And we'll get into the news of the day because there's some fascinating news of because we've hit on the 50 years of Bretton Woods, and we'll get into that a little bit. But the money system, when they took it off gold, no longer became sound. It had a flat tone, if you will. So anyway, hopefully that gives you some sort of key of how we're using that word sound. And so the framework that sort of goes around this is that we need to have unconditional positive regard, not only for ourselves but for others. And what does that mean? We talked about presuppositions the day before, and we're assuming that we know someone, and you don't. Plain and simple, guys. You do not know anyone. I don't care if you lived with them for 20 years. You don't know them. You only know what they have told you and presented to you, right? And the way you've perceived the way they presented to you, those thoughts are your thoughts. The emotions you have around that are your emotions, right? So the only thing you really ever truly know is yourself. Now we can have people look outside of us and observe us like a coach and then give us insights to ourselves and maybe challenge us with perceptions and questions, right? To break our old frameworks. That's fine, right? But it still doesn't mean that coach knows you. They're just observing your perspective and then giving you feedback or reframing what they perceive. Cool? So we need to be accepting. So we need to start accepting BTC. Right? We need to start accepting that this is the new way. This is the new thought wave. Right? The frequency of what this new wave is coming in will take over the entire world, and we will back our reserve currencies and reserve asset. It will become the world's reserve asset. You can debate it. You can do whatever you want. But just go back into the 90s when internet started coming out and emails and all that stuff. It overtook the world, and everything is connected basically in the mainstream world is all connected to the internet. And so BTC is just a new 3.0 or 2.0, well, yeah, we said 3.0 internet. And we can also call it the new enlightenment, right? We no longer have to carry gold bricks or have guards around us carrying our gold and protecting it, right? We don't need to carry a knife or a weapon on us to protect the bills, the worthless bills we have in our pockets, right? BTC is secure, right? It's portable, which means I can just carry words in my head, my keys in my head. I can go to any country, buy a ledger or whatever hard wallet you want, and then just access my funds anywhere in the world. They're portable, and no one can stop it. So this is an unstoppable sound force. And so we need to start accepting that. Accept that the dollar is gone, the belief system behind that, the crooks that created the system, right? They're gone. It's an old system, and we're coming into one that is unconditional positive regard, which means it gives us positivity in our life. It frees us. And so part of this process is we need to assume the best in people, and as you would, and what you're capable of, basically, right? Assume the best in yourself, right? And yes, we know assume means make an ass out of you and me, but from this point, let's put that on the side for a moment. And we do have presuppositions or pre-assumptions, right? But if you can change this word assume if you want, fine. I just prefer to look at myself and accept myself as I am, which is an imperfect, always bettering itself being. And once you can accept yourself, you'll begin to see the merits of the electrical perspective, the spiritual perspective of BTC. It's just not a monetary money. It is a get out of jail free card from the enslavement of the dollar. That's worthless. And they use it to restrict people, to imprison people, to starve people, to bombard them, right? Again, we're all priest warriors or priestess warriors. We're both the spirit and the fighter. But we can start putting our fighter to use. It becomes our protector, right, of those against who want to oppress us. And that gets a little preachy, I understand that, but we need to start looking at people with a positive regard and to assume the best until they prove otherwise, right? So if they, my mother. So yeah, begin to look at the best within you, and then you'll start seeing the better. When you see the better in you, you'll see the better in other people. You can't see the better in others if you can't even see it in yourself, because what you're seeing within is what you see outside of yourself. So over time, you will trust your thoughts. Right? Begin to have confidence and unconditionality around your thoughts. Positive regard. Be positive about yourself. Look at yourself in a better light. And when you start doing that, you'll understand BTC from a spiritual perspective. That it's about freedom. Right? And part of this freedom is that we need congruency. We talked about congruency in videos past, but I'll break it down a little more here. Congruency is words are sounds, right? Wavelengths. They come in a frequency. If I talk faster, you can hear me talk faster. That's a faster frequency. But if I slow my words down, right, then you're more apt to like the tone of which I speak, and you'll be able to understand me better, right? And so the words that you're speaking are basically an internal representation, right? And those internal representations, when they manifest or go outside of us through words, our words, then it becomes action, right? Actionable words, right? When you actually take action to something, that's a physical manifestation from the supernatural into this natural world, right? And as well, our actions represent our words. So basically, it's what I was just saying, right? Just walk your walk, talk your walk, all that good stuff, guys. That's what it's basically saying. And we need to have this unconditional acceptance. So just as we had the unconditional positive regard, we now have the unconditional acceptance. I accept people how they are because really who I think they are is just my thoughts, and those thoughts are just representative of my own framework within. So really, I treat each person, even if it's someone I know, I do my best to treat them. And it's really hard sometimes with people that are really close to you, or maybe that they're not your friend anymore, is that you have to treat them still like they're a new person. Because when you do truly meet that person, they are new. Even if it was a day ago, they've acquired new information. They've acquired new experiences or life events. Right? They may have watched something and all of a sudden it changed their whole framework. Well, who they are, they're totally different. Right? The only reason you perceive them to be the same is because you're perceiving yourself to be the same. But if you see that person as a brand new person each and every day, your loved ones, your enemies, right? Relatives who you no longer speak to, right? It's because of your thoughts, right? You're still holding on to a conversation or an event that happened in the past, but that person's totally different. Now you can perceive them because your thoughts are still perceiving them as they were, but they are different. And so this is a clue to help you recreate a new framework that says, hey, this person's new. I don't know them. They're different from the day before. From moment to moment, we're all brand new. And so this is going to help us with the unconditional acceptance that we just don't know anyone. We just know ourselves. So who is it that we're really having unconditional acceptance for? Ourselves. All right, guys. You gotta bring the love. You gotta bring the love. You know, speaking from an egoic man, brought up in an egoic man world, it's very challenging to release that egoic training and just come it from my heart and be vulnerable. And it's still a challenge, right? Some of the old ones, and that challenge is because it's the way I'm choosing to unravel or unwound or unpack myself, right? All right. So emotional stress is because we have limited knowledge. We've talked about this in different videos, right? With limited knowledge, you don't know something, so that creates a stress. It makes you uneasy, uncomfortable, uncertain. So with BTC, understand the sound of BTC. Understand that it's sound money, and understand that when you are able to see it as sound money, it's meaning that you have seen yourself as sound, that you're a sound individual, right? Sound intelligence. So hopefully that gave you a little more insight into the esoteric part to understand BTC, to accept yourself, right, and start accepting this new financial wealth, right? Because some people have trouble accepting wealth because they've been conditioned to be poor so long. And that by being rich, and especially today's narrative, if you're rich, you're the evil. No, the more money you make, the more you can help people, right? And the more you have Bitcoin, the more you can spread that, and they can't stop you from spreading the Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is peace, it's love, it's unconditionality, right? So we're going to spread that love. We're going to buy it. We're going to help other people, right? I don't subscribe any longer to their old system. I subscribe to my new system, right? Which is my new perspective of life. So we talked about Bretton Woods a little earlier. So Bretton Woods was popular amongst the economists for hosting the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference in 1944, which led to the obligation of the United States, Canada, Western Europe countries, Australia, Japan, and they would all tie the currency to gold. I mean, it was in the Bretton Woods Hotel. That's why they decided to call it that. Well, what this did is peg the dollar to gold. But in 1971, we know 50 years ago, that was taken off. And so since that time, the dollar's been worthless, right? So there's your definition of the day. Let's go to charts, picks, and all right, here's our chart today. Here's Bitcoin right now. We're sitting at around 46. Let me take a look here. 47-ish, 46, 47. And what I'm seeing, for those who are following, we have a triangle going up or a wedge coming in, and you see where it's starting to bounce back and forth, back and forth. So normally these ascending wedges, we can draw a line. Draw a line. And with me a second, we're just drawing the line with the fat fingers. There we go. So we have this wedge, right? This little pi triangle here. And so it's been bouncing in and out, went down, bouncing and bouncing, bouncing. So eventually it's going to break up or down. And so let's sort of look at the definition of that. So we're looking at a wedge. Don't worry about the busted. When they're saying it's busting, it's going to pop up or it's going to pop down. And so basically the price breaks either way. The percentages are about equal from what I've seen throughout history, but you can look at all this. The price must move less than 10% before reversing. For upward breakouts, price then closes below the bottom of the ascending triangle. For downward breakout, price is close to the top of the ascending. So basically what they're saying, if it goes up, it's going to break down first, then go up. If it breaks up, then if it goes further than 10, we're in good standing. But if it goes up 10 and then drops, then you want to get out of your position. Or wait, if you know this is coming, wait for that price to go down and then buy cheaper Bitcoin at that price. Makes sense? All right, and my pick of the day, right, Wax token. Wax is a phenomenal site. These are all the partners and all the brands that you can buy. So Atari, Topps, Bratz, for those who remember, Mickey Mouse, or whatever. William Shatner has his own. He has specific cards with him and Spock, or I'm blanking on his real name right now. But it's where you can trade, and they have a new system coming out, which is viral, which is virtual in real life commerce. And virtual in real life commerce is basically you can take something, and they're part of the big ecosystem. Is that when you buy something from Amazon that you like, a collector's item, you're like, oh, I can get this. It's 1 of 10. You buy it, and then you have it, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to put this back up on eBay. And then you got to send it back out to the new buyer, and then that buyer says, hey, I want to take it and sell it and get more of a profit, and they sell it. And then so you got trucks, gas, all this other stuff. So part of understanding the VIRL, or virtual in real life, is that someone can buy something on Wax, and you hold the NFT, the non-fungible token. You hold that, and basically what that is a contract. Because it's on smart contracts. So you have a contract, and it says that you are the owner of this. Now, you can immediately put it up on one of these websites that resell these NFTs, and then someone else can buy it, right? Well, you didn't have to take possession of the actual physical thing. You can just put it back up there, resell it, and then just send the NFT contract to the new person. Now they own it. So I didn't have to have a truck. Gas didn't have to be used. Employees, all this type stuff didn't have to be used, right? Because we are going into the robotics of life in one sense. But if we can save gas and all this other stuff, right, you can get into saving the planet if you want. So it's a really good project as far as, so it's NFT, you're resellable, it has collectibles, but it's all in the digital world. So take a look at Wax. I think it's a really good project. I don't know. Let's see if I had it brought up. Let's get a look at the price really quick. All right. Wax is at 18 cents today. There's a total of 3,770,000,000 of these guys, so there's not too big. But yeah, it's still pretty cheap, so I can easily see this one going another 2x easily up to, and once all this takes off, once we get into $3 trillion, $5 trillion market cap of total market cap, this coin will easily be $5, $10, $20, $50. So I think because it's a really good project and what it stands for, and especially the viral VIRL concept. Cool. All right, let's finish up here. All right, movie, book of the day, influencer of the day. Right now, the book of the day is Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451. I want y'all to read this book. It was written back in the 50s or 60s, I believe. And it basically comes out that books are illegal. TVs are on 24. Everyone has a big screen TV. And this, again, keep in mind this was written in the 50s. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just blank. It's either 50s or 60s. Anyway, he wrote this all pretty quickly. And it basically the control of the police force and the government, that you aren't allowed to read books. And everyone has a big screen TV on that stays on all the time. Basically to keep those tones, keeping you brainwashed, and it's really you'll be. They send out this little electronic dog with a shot that kills you if you're caught as an enemy for reading books. But definitely read that book, and you'll see that a lot that's in that book is coming to fruition today about controlling you. So to get out of their control, you definitely want to get into BTC and keep your freedom, right? So basically, we talked about the sound of money. We need sound minds to have sound money, right? If you got a sound mind, a sound heart, then you can have sound money. You can have sound wealth, sound love, and sound health, right? So definitely, guys, hopefully this was good for you today. And again, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. And I really appreciate you joining me. Oops. And then just remember, guys, keep life casual. I'm trying to put it up there so y'all can see. There we go. And remember, keep life casual, guys. Keep it simple. Keep it love. Keep it higher, positive regard for everyone else, right? Because if you don't, for other people, if your thoughts about yelling and screaming, it tells you that you don't have regard for yourself. And why? Because you have limited knowledge. So definitely, guys, keep it casual. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.